thank you for coming onto the show, Freddie from Deadfellaz. So I'm happy to talk to you again. We had like a Twitter Spaces, but now we have, let's say, the official one, if we can call it like this. I'm not sure. But happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for asking me to chat again.
Sure. Maybe let's start from the very beginning. Like maybe you can tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you have entered the space, and like what has been on your table as an artist as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Freddie. I'm 26. I'm still relatively new to Web3. I kind of entered officially in November. I'd sort of been in and out of very lazy crypto stuff for a couple of years, and Betty and I were friends in real life, and so she just kind of came to me and was like, we're friends, I know you like crypto, I know you're an artist, I have something I think you're going to like. Do you want a job, basically? Which was obviously like, life-changing, obviously. And within a couple of weeks, I was pretty much immersed in the space. And even though I wasn't there with the intention to sell my art at the start, it was obviously working for Deadfellaz and Betty specifically. But there was a lot of encouragement. I started posting my art, being like, hey guys, I'm an artist too. Not really expecting much, but then people like it and you get that confidence. And I did mint my first piece on Object, actually.
Cool.
With the hype of my followers, basically. I think I had like a few hundred at the time, and it got retweeted by one of my favorite artists in the space, actually Tiffatron, who's pretty famous. I mean, just her talent alone is like insane. One of my kind of core artists I just show everybody that's entering the space, especially like, one-on-ones. She retweeted it and it got sold literally within days. And that was kind of the catalyst for my artist journey within Web3. I did start off on Tezos just because at the time gas was ridiculous in November. I remember trying to list something and it was $300 gas one day and thinking, Ethereum's expensive, not knowing that was kind of a momentary thing. But I did start off on Tezos. I still have my Tezos chain stuff, which I kind of uses my experimental art. And then Ethereum, I've been minting a few things kind of here and there that have been a bit more high effort. Not to say that, Tezos is a low effort chain. That's, I think it's a bit more experimental in that way. I love both, obviously, for different reasons. So that's kind of where I've been at. I've been selling things for sort of like introductory prices, but I've made more than I've ever made in my artist life outside of Web3. So that's just been like obviously cheering me on because Betty was the purchaser of my last NFT, even though she kind of said to me jokingly, I'll never buy your art because I'll feel bad, like, other people want it and I'll feel bad, like I'm your boss, blah, blah. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with art at the moment. I've been doing little projects. I did a collaboration with Therapets, which is run by my good friend Coco, who also writes for Deadfellaz, so that's obviously how we met. So just here and there projects, but I think at the moment I've been mostly focusing on the social media side of things and growing not only Deadfellaz brand, but my own personal brand, which you got to start from scratch really when it's Web3 because you're developing a whole digital identity. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, your Twitter and everything you do, you have grown like exponentially, and as you said, you had like a little following, but now you have almost like 5.5K, which is immense. I think it's really really nice. And from an artist perspective, you said that you started in Web3 end of last year, but like kind of art. When have you started drawing? Because I think you said you've been doing it for like many years already. So when we also look at your art, it looks like very very, very crazy good. I couldn't I think do stuff like that. So it means that you are very talented and also like have been doing it for many years, because I think you cannot draw art like you do after like a few weeks or months. I don't know. So maybe you can also show us
Yeah.
how your art looks like. If you want to, obviously, you should be able to share your screen.
Should I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right. So, can you see what
Yeah.
I'm showing? Okay.
Yes, I can see it.
So when I say kind of tease off, this is what I started out with. My first thing I put out was this little mushroom project. Actually, let me just get the collection up so it's more cohesive.
Okay.
So this is the little thing I put out.
Nice.
It was actually kind of inspired. My mum had recently done this huge puzzle, and it was a mushroom thing, and it's like,
Nice.
it's on my wall. So I was kind of looking at it, and I started doodling, and I was like,
Nice.
this is going to be my first little thing. I mean, I put it out. It didn't do amazingly, but it was just like a fun little thing to do.
Okay.
This is the first one I ever technically sold, like I talked about, that Tiffatron boosted essentially
Nice.
is the reason for that. So yeah, this is my tease-off art. I obviously am kind of like very bright, bold. Some of them are like even, hang on, what's the one I'm thinking of? This one was very like Keith Haring-y inspired, was what I was going for, I think.
Nice.
So yeah, it's kind of all a bit strange. Like my styles are very different and a little bit all over the place. And then I've got my Ethereum stuff, although it kind of leads into Ethereum a little bit, as you can see.
Yeah, true.
I was kind of just toying with what that would look like. And yeah, so these are the pieces that I have on Ethereum at the moment. This pixel croc thing was Carson Daly. I don't know if you know Carson. She's a complete legend, but I literally posted them as a joke because it's funny. And she was like, mint these and I will buy them. So literally that's what I did. Yeah, so
I like those. And if you go one line further down, the women and the kind
this one?
water me circle, persistence and honesty. They look very, very, very cool.
This one took me forever because hands are so hard to draw. Like notoriously, I think you ask any artist that, but this one was a real doozy. But yeah, that one was another thing that I put out, not really expecting. Again, this was just the start of my journey. This burning down the house one was just a silly David Byrne thing that I kind of conceptualized, put that on Twitter, and then someone asked me to mint it, which is like, obviously I love that. Like, you know,
true.
Not ever in my life before really was I putting something out there and people were like, I want to spend money on this. Like, I love this. I want to buy it, which is something that Web3, I think, it definitely encourages. And I've found myself doing it also to my friends when they upload something. I'm like, is this minted or like, what's going on? So yeah, this is everything I've got on Ethereum at the moment. It's pretty,
Nice.
you know, slow paced, but this was the one that got a bit of traction on Twitter. So I decided
this one looks amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I decided to mint it after it got like an insane amount of likes on Twitter.
Okay. 200 views.
I was like,
wow.
well, yeah, that was.
Okay.
It was really. It's kind of started off more of just a light, you know, practice really, because it's still life. I generally find is the best to practice with. So yeah, that's the art I've got going on at the moment. And that's everything that's out there anyway. There's a lot of stuff on my iPad that no one will ever see.
Nice. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you've been trying out with, I think, different mediums, right? And Yeah. What was the other thing? Is it kind of like oil or what kind of
So I
different kind
do
of
everything
brushes, right?
digitally.
Digital, yeah.
Yeah, it's all digital, but Procreate is amazing.
Yeah.
It has so many brushes, and you can even buy them on the internet. Like there's artists that are pros at digital art, and they
Mm.
make specific brush packs for different
True.
things.
True, true, true.
So yeah, I've really taken advantage of that, and it's actually like cheaper than buying physical mediums, depending on how fussy you are about how it's going to look.
True.
So I've been dabbling with all sorts of things, mostly paints, just hard paints.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was actually, I believe,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
turpentine brush, which kind of, it was like a little bit of a dry acrylic style, I guess. I've never used it in real life before, so I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
really know. But
True.
yeah, I like the look. Yeah. So I've just been really just experimenting with that. And that's the best thing as well with digital, I find,
Yeah.
that you can just really do whatever.
Yeah, sounds
And you
good.
can get rid of it if you don't like it as well. You can just backspace
True.
that thing. So
True. What do you think is different in the NFT space compared to the offline market, let's say? And is there any advice you would give to people or that want to get into the NFT space as an artist? Or like I'm sure you have learned a lot during the time you spent in Web3. So what can new artists do? Or
I think it's similar but different. And I think that there's like slightly less, uh, what's the word, like snobbiness in a
Mm-hmm.
way
True.
over what's real art.
Mm-hmm.
Even the traditional art world is still coming to terms with digital
Yeah.
art as a whole, and Web3 obviously, doesn't have that problem. So
Mm-hmm.
I found it easier to navigate in that way, as well as connecting with people, just because your circle is online, that
True.
everybody's there. In the traditional art world, you really do have to count on living in a
Yeah.
metropolitan place. I mean, I live in regional Australia, and
Mm.
really my best shot at selling my art is setting up at the farmer's market. And it just doesn't, it's not, I mean, it probably does happen for a lot of people, can very successfully sell prints
True.
that way, and I'm sure it does happen, but it's just, I don't have a car for a
Mm.
start. So, it's all these things that a lot of people struggle with, and
True.
having the money in the first place to rent like a gazebo
Studio
and all
or
of these
yeah.
things. It's, yeah, it's a lot compared to click, upload, mint, and
So
there it
true.
is. Um,
And then also
Obviously,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, obviously there are people that will say, well, I want a physical copy, but you can still print it, that you have the rights then to that.
Yeah.
And generally, printing an NFT is probably cheaper anyway than if you're going to buy a original piece of
That's true.
painting.
That's true.
In my experience anyway.
Yeah, yeah. That's so nice. We'll definitely link everything up you have been creating so people can go check it out. Check out your collections
Awesome.
and so on, your Twitter. Maybe now let's come to the work you've been doing at Deadfellaz, how you got into this one. You already in the beginning said that Betty is a friend of yours, and it came all natural that you started looking, or she kind of told you, hey, we have like a job for you. And how did this one go?
How did Betty hire me?
Yeah, and like maybe also what you've been doing at Deadfellaz, how the brand developed over time, and like what you basically just what you want to say about Deadfellaz.
Deadfellaz, yeah. So obviously Deadfellaz has been amazing. I work with genuinely like some of my closest friends now. They've all become. The last few months has been full on like event planning, obviously, for New York. That was taking up everything for the last 3 months, which was obviously really exciting.
True.
But that kind of was the only thing we were doing. At the moment, my core sort of responsibility is just organizing people, connecting. I'm sort of like, I am Betty's personal assistant, but I kind of work obviously intra Deadfellaz and all
True.
that sort of thing. A lot of time zone comparing, which hurts my brain, but someone's got to do it.
It's true.
So yeah, not only that, but just kind of keeping the community sort of, alive and talking and that sort of thing. I know it's a lot of people have felt a little bit like, oh, what's going to happen, maybe worried even, but I feel like if teams aren't worrying, especially these, what I would consider a blue chip, I mean, that's obviously very depending on who you're talking to, but Deadfellaz, in my mind anyway,
In mine
is
too.
one of those brands that is just consistent. And that's not even just like a bias thing. I think even in terms of being a holder and a community member, that's what I see anyway. So if teams like Deadfellaz and Cool Cats and all the big ones, if they're not panicking, then like you shouldn't either, kind of thing, is the advice I give out. Because I don't know, I guess it's a testament to we have plans for the future, and that is not going to be dependent on whether ETH is up or down. That's going to happen, period.
Yeah.
So whether that's physical activations, the metaverse is going to be there no matter what ETH is at. The art is always going to be there.
True.
The technology is always going to be there. Like, there's just so many things to do. And the bear market is just, it's not slowing anyone. Well, it's not slowing us down, that's for sure. So if anything, I think we've knuckled down, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited, actually.
Me too, actually. Last time, I think like a few weeks ago, I listened to a recording of a Twitter Spaces from Holly, the COO, and I think her name is, she's a director, Steph, Undead Steph,
Steph.
I guess, I'm not sure. But this Spaces, this was, and also I think the brain, the marketing brain, I'm not sure, Meg, sorry, yeah. Meg was also part of the Spaces, and like this one got me really convinced that working at Deadfellaz and especially like the values people stand for and how you guys are hiring is like very top notch, and also the next generational thing of how you should hire people, I guess, looking for what they really want and how they want to develop as a person and how it fits into the company. This made me like super bullish, I guess, on the longer term. And then obviously there was NFT NYC, and I've heard that the party from Deadfellaz was really cool. Betty doxed. We could also see Psych and like all the reactions, I think, from the community. I think it kind of made many people more positive on the long term kind of plans and what's in store, I think, for us. So yeah, I think it was such a good example of how a brand can really just make something insane happen, even just with knowing other brands and the amazing people that were there. We had Scab Shop, we had like some of the most in-demand tattoo artists in New York City were there. Nice. Princess Nokia, who is obviously, I wouldn't even call her upcoming anymore, but she's really popular. Just like all of these things we managed to get was very cool, and definitely I've never organized an event like it, and I used to do events at my university, which were pretty big. So even though I wasn't there, I like felt the excitement of it all. Like I was texting everybody during the event, being like, what's going on? Like, is so-and-so in yet? Like, it seemed awesome. I almost couldn't have FOMO because it just looked like everyone had such a good time. So yeah, I'm really happy that it all went down, and there was just so much hard work. Like, I would wake up to like 50 emails from checking the night before, and it was literally just making sure like the bar was happening, the entertainment was happening, the venue was happening, everything had to be
like perfect. And as far as I know, there wasn't any mishaps. I think, you know, very last minute things like we didn't end up having a certain food caterer or whatever. I think that was really the, you know, the biggest thing ever, but really it just, everything went so amazing. And it was a really cool show of just like technology and like queer culture and just some really cool stuff.
Sounds
And
good.
I think it's like really held a high bar for
Yeah.
what Web3 based events could be like, for sure.
True. Also with the booth where you could buy some merch and stuff. I saw the videos on Twitter. This looked
Yeah.
kind of cool as well.
Yeah, that happened at VCon as well with
True,
the
VCon as well, yeah.
yeah, that was so last minute as well. I mean, I think that was all planned in about a month.
Wow.
Which was like so good.
Yeah,
I don't know how that
crazy.
all came together, but it did.
Did you guys buy this whole booth or like the stands and like somewhere from the US, or did it get shipped? And
I think it was an LA-based production company, as far as I'm aware, because I can very clearly remember the conversations about transport and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, we just literally had like a little, I can't even remember how big it was, but just almost like a square at VCon, and it was a pretty quiet conference, I think. Like, you know, that's fine. Obviously, I think people just came through, got some merch, got to say hey. It wasn't, you know, necessarily overwhelming, which is why I think a lot of people didn't go to the main NYC conferences, just because they were so big. I mean, like, people did still go, but I think a lot of people rocked up to New York City for the parties and just hanging out with people in the area.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I've also heard like NFT NYC was kind of like not in one big space, but it was all around the city, right? So it was kind of hard for people to have an overview what's happening. And when it's like, there was, I think, no kind of central schedule. You needed to organize yourself, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Well, because it was in Times Square, I believe, which is already like a pretty difficult area to navigate. I heard like it was quite hard for people to, you know, book accommodation and all that sort of thing. So as long as people had fun while they were there, I saw so much, you know, amazing photos of people going to like Katz's Deli and like all of these little New York icons, and people had fun, so, you know.
Next year we'll also go and then meet up there. Let's hope for the best.
Yeah, I need to prepare myself for traveling, because I really, I want to do it 1 year for sure.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Is there another thing you want to tell us regarding Deadfellaz before we jump onto the next point?
Trying to think of like stuff I'm allowed to talk about as well. God.
Like, I also think during kind of quiet times, there's no like big announcements from the strategic kind of perspective, because I think that when the market is quiet, like making announcements doesn't really make that much sense, since it doesn't get heard, kind of, right? Like, this is how I would navigate my NFT project if I had one, because like it makes like many more waves when the market is crazy anyway, and like in a bull run. So it's more effective to put the big stuff into better market situations, let's say.
Yeah, we've I would say we at the moment we're probably focusing on like press. So Betty's been doing some interviews and things like that. We had a front cover for Alt Press, which was amazing. I actually got one of my mutuals to, well, actually he gifted me he sent it out in the mail because I can't get it on Australia. But that's really so cool. Like,
what's
the front
that?
cover is amazing.
From which magazine?
Alt Press.
Alt Press.
Alt Press, ALT Press. And it's the Betty in New York kind of design thing, and it's so cool. So that's probably the most new and exciting thing happening that
Nice, nice,
isn't,
nice.
like a secret.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I need to check it out as well. Haven't heard of this one, but yeah, like following. Yeah, obviously things get a little bit more quiet during this kind of market situations, but yeah, I'm still very optimistic to what the future will bring, and yeah,
Yeah, me too.
that's true. Yeah. All right. Then you also told me that you're also working on another project. Tell me more about that, and what are you guys doing there?
Yeah, so it literally has all happened in about a week. So
Mm-hmm.
about a week ago, I put out a tweet saying that I'd love to do some writing.
Mm.
I write kind of monthly reviews at the moment for a magazine, and it's something that I really love doing. So I wanted to
Nice.
do more of it, but in Web3 space.
Yeah.
And I just put that tweet out literally like, anyone know of any jobs?
Yeah.
Not really expecting much, but also because Web3 is amazing and everyone wants to help everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I got so many responses of links and stuff, and I got a couple of personal messages, and before I knew it, I was on an interview with Angel, who is one of the founders of Sintra HQ, or just Sintra, which is basically going to be what I imagine is like the Web3 go-to social media.
Nice.
I would love to see it overtake Twitter personally. It's also kind of got a bit of an integration of OpenSea. So it's sort of like having Twitter, but you also have your kind of investment feed, I suppose. It's just basically going to be more user-friendly for Web3 and hopefully host more resources, that sort of thing. And I think obviously Twitter is such a huge platform. You're not always going to be reaching out to Web3 people. And I suppose having a specific platform just makes it easier to network and all that sort of thing. So
interesting.
I saw the demo, had an interview, was like, please take me.
Yeah.
Everything looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like I was basically sold, and me and Angel got along so well that he like basically took me on. So
nice.
I'll be doing social media content, but we'll probably hopefully go into articles once they get their like blogs running. So I drafted all these ideas I had. I was like brimming with ideas, and we've talked about so much cool stuff, like like digital identities and safety, and like kind of disrupting the space a little bit in terms of what the traditional art world looks like, and what we were just saying, or how I found it really snobby. So yeah, and just hopefully fostering a Web3 culture on social media that isn't about flexing and just the stuff you don't want to see. So yeah, met the team, love them all already. So yeah, I'm basically getting started tomorrow on that. So there'll be more to report, and they're going to be kind of it's kind of they're laying low at the moment because they're still doing stuff on the ground. But yeah, expect to see it pop off eventually, hopefully.
Yeah.
But
congrats on that.
In my head, it's already happened.
Congrats
Thank
on
you.
that.
I'm really happy about it. Really happy about it.
Yeah, I see they are currently like in the beta, I guess, and you can kind of subscribe, and I think there's I can't find the homepage yet, but it looks very nice from the branding and what you just told me regarding the vision. It's a very nice and big vision.
Yeah.
Let's hope for the best, and we'll see where this journey brings Sintra, but it sounds very cool to have like a kind of place to network and socialize, let's say. It also says it's a messaging platform, yeah, specifically for NFT. So it's
I'm excited.
awesome.
Yeah, it's I think it's closer than it sounds away. I think maybe a couple months, but at the moment we're sort of working on the pre-marketing and just all that kind of stuff. So I'll be involved in that hopefully, but my writing will get, my opinions will be stronger. But yeah, I'm just excited. I haven't done a lot of writing in my past. I've just started recently, so yeah.
I think writing is a good way of expressing yourself and putting your thoughts onto paper. I really like writing, and I also have a blog, but I haven't written anything in, I guess, a few months' time. So it's also kind of sometimes challenging. I think like everyone works differently, and sometimes you need to set yourself like I guess goals or writing goals, and maybe like a timer or something. That's how I work personally. Because
writing it's one of those, it comes in waves, and sometimes I find that I could smash a few things out. I was like that in uni too, and then other times I cannot for the life of me come up with words. But I suppose the good thing about Web3 in a way is there is a little bit more flexibility in creativity. I think I would find it very hard to work for companies and have to write things I don't care about or don't believe in, or stuff that isn't important in general. So I almost did get into journalism, but then decided it was just like to get your way to the top, you really had to make some shitty moves. So I decided, no, I won't do that. But
basically, you're I think in Web3 there are so many opportunities, and if you really, I don't know, you can basically do whatever you want, because there's space and for many things and people, and you can be more than just one specific job title. I guess you can do multiple things, and it complements each other very in a nice way, So so it's a nice space to be.
Definitely. You really can pick up so many things. And kind of learn new things and realize that you didn't like them. I didn't realize how much I liked writing actually until I started, kind of doing a few more threads and sort of writing essays to my friends, talking about Web3. But
what can we expect from you in the short term? Are you gonna put out more art? Are you gonna, I don't know, make some big moves on other things? Is there anything you want to share?
Always big moves.
Always big moves.
Art is going to be always something that I'm going to be putting out. Slower than I used to, just because I feel like I have more other stuff on my plate now. But I think I've definitely been focusing lately more on, like I said, a personal brand that isn't like I'm trying to sell people things. I more just want to be known for my ideas and my work and things like that. And Betty's in the same boat, obviously. Like, speaking for her, I think it's been interesting to see what doxing does and how some people, and this is like quite rare, I must say, but some people do kind of shift their attention to what you look like, and Betty even got told to stop posting selfies and stuff like that. And it's like, she's not posting a selfie, she's showing her billboard in New York. Like, this is a personal thing she's done, and it's amazing, and it happens to probably a lot of people in Web3, and it's shit, but all you can really do is, I guess, just ignore it, because who cares? I mean, they're not affecting anything, really.
That's true. I mean, like, I don't know, let's say artists from other areas of, I don't know, musicians or something, they also post pictures of themselves. They post pictures of themselves showing something else, and it's completely normal. So I don't understand this kind of comment you just mentioned. I read it somewhere as well. But I think there will always be people who try to, I don't know, shit on other people. So so it's, I think,
it's yeah, it's usually like a little jealousy, and then there's obviously insecurities and
Sure.
the general hatred mixture. But it's
100%.
very strange to see people kind of just dish it out for almost no reason.
Mm.
Especially when they tend to be invested in this person and
Mm.
they've spent money on this person, and it feels
True.
very strange for them to turn around and be like,
Yeah, super
no,
true.
I don't like what you're doing, even though it's not harmful,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But
That's true. Yeah, I think then we are almost at the end. Is there anything you want to tell us before we wrap it up? I mean, it has been a very, very cool call. It was very nice to catch up with you. Let me know if we should add something to before we end it.
I would just say I'm having a lot of fun at the moment just talking to like-minded people and even subtly onboarding friends into the space, whether that's artists or one of my good friends, Nikki, who has just been like kind of an icon of of Twitter for a while, has like 40K on her regular one.
Wow.
So I was like, Nikki, you have to come over Web3 because like you're amazing, and there's just this need for funny, relatable, like people, I guess, that aren't weird kind of celebrities or ex-Silicon Valley kind of. I don't know. There's a bit of a weirdness that I'd like to bring more authentic people in, and starting with the friends that I know and trust. That's basically what Betty did with me. So I'm trying to pass that on without sounding like a pyramid scheme. I have to make that clear, because that's another thing that's hard. Like, you really don't want to come off that way, so you've got to be very slow and like, oh, have you heard of this kind of. But yeah, I mean, all you can do is just advocate for the Web3 that you know, which is, you know, the one that I thrive on every day. So it's been really cool. And yeah, I definitely encourage anyone to just message their friend or bestie or, you know, colleague even. Doesn't have to be pitchy. You can just talk about it. But yeah, that's my final note, I think.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I guess like from the outside to people who don't know the space very well, since they don't understand it, it's very easy to drift into this pyramid scheme kind of thing, and it might look like a scam from the outside, because I think it's kind of still very early technology, and there are a lot of scammers out there, and it's hard to navigate with all those wallets and connecting their MetaMask and so on. So I think like as time goes on and people spend more time in it, tell their friends as you do, it will get bigger and bigger. I mean, people I think will be in the space without even knowing, since big companies have already adopted it and crafting their way into the space, into NFTs and so on. So let's see how this one goes as well.
Yeah, I'm excited. 2022, 2023, I can see a bit of a shift happening, but I guess we can only wait and see what happens.
I think it's also perfect timing right now, when it's kind of like slower to build, to work on your products, to work on your personal brand, and then just basically capture the next wave of people who are coming in. So I think this is something everyone can do who's interested in it long term, and
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. Cool. All right, then. Thank you so much, Freddie. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you.
And
likewise.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll let you know when it's uploaded so we can share it and stuff.
Awesome.
Have a good night in Australia. Bye. Thank you so much.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.